the CHGO White Sox podcast. Coming to you live from I really just am not over the presented thing. I keep wanting to say presented. Welcome into Studio A of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago. I'm your host, Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. Alongside me is Vinnie Duber, our CHGO White Sox beat writer. You can follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber. And the man in the middle is Herb Lawrence.
Hello.
You can follow him on Twitter at Ecknerwall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. We missed Herb yesterday, so we'll get his first half review of the Chicago White Sox, who are currently 16 games under 500, 16 games under 500, 16, and 8 games back of the AL Central. We'll play a little AL Central game about the 3 teams above the Royals and White Sox. Can you name their all-stars? And then we'll dive into the MLB Draft. The Sox, I think, have so far made 8 picks or so, and then we'll preview the Home Run Derby, where Luis Robert Jr. will become a national star. We're very, very excited to talk to everybody. Make sure you're hitting the thumbs up button, and we appreciate Drake, Samuel, David, Connor, all joining us already.
I've got to give a shout out, by the way. I was at Roscoe Village Burger Fest over the weekend, and I was stopped by a loyal watcher/listener.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
This name is going to sound like a joke, but he made sure to tell me that he is not the one of these. Sean Spicer, not the former press secretary for the White House and Dancing with the Stars competitor.
Did he say how he spelled it? Like
I believe
the
he
same
spelled
way?
Sean different.
Oh.
So not like you.
Yeah,
So
well, that's unfortunate
correctly.
because Sean Spicer spells it, not that Sean Spicer, obviously, that's what we're talking about. The other Sean Spicer spells it like me.
But he stopped me at Burger Fest just as I was about to chow down on a delicious chorizo burger from Reggie's.
Oh, wow.
And said hi and said he watches the show. So there's your shout out, Sean.
Hello.
Hello, Sean.
Hey, we love other Sean. He's always in the chat, so we love other Sean Spicer now.
Yeah.
So,
and I met other Sean. Great
other
guy.
Sean Spicer?
No, just
You
other
meet him
Sean. The other
You're in his profile photo on here now.
Cincinnati Sean.
Yes.
Or Ohio Sean, because he told me about the Kyle Schwarber monument in Middletown, Ohio, which is, I guess, more of a plaque, not monument.
Sure.
Anyways, Herb, again, 16 games under 500.
Yeah.
The Chicago White Sox are 38-54, 8 games back of the AL Central. What do you make of this team? Steven and I did some stock up, stock down during the show yesterday, and then we had Vinnie on, and we talked a little bit about what the clubhouse vibe is, the culture of the White Sox. So make sure if you missed any of that to check that out. But what do you make of the team that is, again, 16 games under 500?
I mean, team as a whole, I think, just speaks to the organization. So it's thumbs down, and stock is way down on that one. But there are, and you guys already probably went over it yesterday, so there won't be any more piling on to the bad. But I want to focus on the good, especially one guy, and we already know about Luis Robert. We'll talk about him a little later. But the guy who pitched yesterday, Lucas Giolito. And that's the thing I'm going to be sad about when he leaves, when he either leaves via trade before this month of July is over, on August 1st is the deadline, or he leaves in free agency, because think about his whole career. Bad in 2018, worst pitcher in baseball, Stephen B. Smith said. Came back, retooled with Ethan Katz, became an all-star, became a good, reliable, top-of-the-rotation guy, 19, 20, 21. Fell off the table last year, gained weight, was hurt often, got COVID, never really recovered from any of the ailments he had last year. And then he went into the lab this year, and his last year, walk year, and there was a lot of doubt. There's a lot of the same stuff that's happening with Tim right now through fans, how they want to give up on him, DFA him, trade him type of stuff. That was all last year. Lucas was the focus of that. He came back from that and he always was professional and understood the task at hand, and he's come out this year and had a fantastic first half. Not all-star worthy because there's other superior pitchers in the league, but right on the cusp of that. And so I want to give kudos to his first half. On this team that has been bad, it's hard to do that, and the Lucas Giolito has persevered through tough times, and I'm going to miss the professional that is Lucas Giolito. I hope the White Sox and himself work out a way where he can come back, because I think his leadership is valuable to the White Sox moving forward.
If only our CHGO White Sox beat writer Vinnie Duber posted an article on allchgo.com about Lucas Giolito's first half. Oh, wait, he did.
It's true.
What'd you write about?
Well, I mean, there's really only one topic that people want to know about with Lucas right now, and you brought it up, Herb, and it's what's going to happen here. And listen, he's been adamant. He brought it up again yesterday. He wants to stay on the South Side. He wants to be a White Sox. He's loyal to this organization, and it's not one of those – I mean, listen, every professional player does this. We heard it from Elvis Andrews last year. We've heard it from plenty of guys who have come to the end of their tenure, and you ask them, oh, would you like to come back? And they all go, yeah, I had a great time here. It's a great environment, and I'm sure I'd love to be back if it all works out, kind of thing. Lucas has gone far beyond that. He's said he's loyal to the organization. He's talked about why in depth. When we showed the interview that I did with him a short while ago, it was, hey, every step of the way in my career, they've supported me, and I've been able to grow into the player I am today because of what the White Sox helped and allowed me to do. And that, I don't think, is something that any fans should take for granted. I know a lot of fans like to act like a front office, and like to look at cold numbers and how do we accomplish this goal? How do we get the data to make us win, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. There's something to be said for a guy who A, is already just the good dude that Lucas is, but B, likes being a part of this team and likes, wearing the same ball cap that you guys wear every single day. There's something to say about what fans should be rooting for, that kind of outcome, that this isn't just a 9-to-5 maybe for these guys, but it is something that they have dedicated their life to. And, in the case of Lucas, that seems to be what he feels. Now, of course, baseball is a business, and Lucas and any other free agent has every right to go take the highest contract that's offered to him. I think the way I phrased it today, and certainly fans are welcome to be a little harsher, but is that there is a reputation that the White Sox have as not wanting to pay top dollar for free agent starting pitching. And the thing that I remember that Rick Hahn always said throughout the rebuild was there's a lot of narratives about this team that we have either are looking to or have done away with, right, by the actions that they've taken. And certainly that's the case. There were things that people were like, oh, the White Sox will never do that, and they did it, right? Whether it's with Lucas or whoever, looking at a offseason in which you might need to replace 3 starting pitchers, 3 holes in the rotation, you might need to get rid of that reputation or get rid of that narrative. Whether you think it's fair or not, if you're the White Sox, you might need to forcefully get rid of it just in order to compete next year, in order to stock your team. So Lucas Giolito is going to command top dollar if he keeps pitching like this. I think the stat that I looked at today was just look at the ERA. It's 3.45 right now, higher than it was at the end of each of the last 3 seasons, 2 of which, by the way, included top 11 Cy Young finishes. And the end of season ERA in the year where he went to the All Star game, also finished high in the Cy Young vote, it was 3.41. So right now he's pitching over a long period of time as well as he has in his career. He's an accomplished guy, an accomplished arm, and you would imagine that a lot of teams are going to be interested in him. If the White Sox don't want to part with him at the trade deadline, then when free agency rolls around, so they better be they've got some decisions to make. Yeah, a lot of the rate stats are very similar for him. A home run per 9 from 2021, 1.4 right now, 1.4. Walk per 9, 2.6, 2.7 from 2021 and 2023. And then you look at the strikeout per 9, 9.4 to 10.1. I think a large part of that is Lucas has kind of become more of a pitcher. And what we brought up yesterday is, again, like the changeup was the pitch in 2020 where, he's thrown it 39 times straight to James McCann. And, that's the dominant pitch that he's using in the Pirates no-hitter. But then in 2021, we see a little bit more development from Lucas, but now we see him throw the changeup like 10 times in a game. Like, he's mainly forcing fastball and slider, and he is mainly working on location, and he does seem like a mature professional pitcher. And if this is the window, if you're truly selling that this team can be competitive, I see no reason why you wouldn't want to sign Lucas Giolito to be on this team, especially if there is loyalty. And you always bring up the story about him being a first rounder and Mike Rizzo signing him and Lucas knowing his price, knowing his worth. Obviously, that's fitting for a draft show. But Lucas, I think, is going to go get his worth out in the open market, because that's what every baseball pitcher waits for, is the opportunity to be wanted, courted, and to get what you have always worked your entire life for, to have those ups and downs and to bounce back from an injury and being the worst pitcher in baseball and finally getting rewarded. And we see the Cubs on the other side give Jameson Tyone $68 million for 4 years.
I think Giolito's a little bit better than Tyone.
Yeah.
But I did see some people, saying he's not an ace. So I do wonder if that caps him at like $100 million, and that's where you're always saying like spreadsheets. I didn't want to get into the spreadsheets.
Well,
I'm just saying,
I'm just saying like
dorky.
that's these people's opinion. I mean, I saw those comments yesterday when I posted my story and stuff like that. Like, that's people's opinions. Front offices might have a different one, and there might be teams out there that say we can unlock that guy. We can get that guy who threw that game in 2020, that postseason game in 2020, we can get that guy on a regular basis because we have the tools to do that. The White Sox might think the same thing. I mean, we are not too far removed from Lucas Giolito being talked about as the ace of this staff. Certainly he has been through the first 3 months of this season.
Well, so, I mean, I always get a little annoyed about their love for first-rounders and first-round talents and always loving a prospect and keeping that love. Because Giolito and personal relationships are usually important to White Sox and free agents. And, he has his pitching coach here. It makes sense for that relationship to continue. And I wouldn't be upset if it does. It's just, again, if we're following history, the last time they went out and made a big signing was Dallas Keuchel, $50 million for 3 years. And, again, it was on and off. A down year for Keuchel after he wasn't even courted as a free agent and then picked up for the Braves in June. And we saw another guy like that also be in a White Sox uniform in Craig Kimbrell. So, I mean, I just don't think that they would go over a certain number because of history. If they do, I'm not going to be upset, especially for this guy.
Yeah, and I always use the term born on third, thinks he hit a triple. It's the Barry Switzer line from back in the 80s. Lucas was born on third. Family full of actors. Dad, I think, does some software for video games. So he had a good, healthy life where he didn't have to strive for anything, and he could have just sailed with being the son of some wealthy people. But it doesn't seem that drives him. It seems like the person is also a great person that wants to do it on his own, doesn't want to live off the laurels of his family. He wants to earn his own. And so if he wants to go out and get the money that the top bidder gives, I can see him doing that, but also I can see Lucas being the person that he is, get the White Sox the opportunity of first refusal. Some team signs him to or asks for a big-ass deal and goes back to the White Sox, say, hey, man, these people are offering 5 for 100. You got this? I want to be here. It's only 20 per. You got this. I can see that guy saying, hey, don't run away from happiness. Yes, we're not good, and I haven't been good the last couple of years, but I'm comfortable here, as Vinnie says in his article. They've given me opportunities to do things that other teams would not have given me the chance, because he came up to the Nationals. And I think he even says that he failed as a national major leaguer. Then he had to go back to the minor leagues, and that's where the White Sox picked him up. So maybe he has an affinity for that, and he feels like, okay, if they come in the ballpark, not necessarily a hometown discount, but they've given me so much, I'm not going to run away from happiness. I'm cool here. I can still do whatever I want to do with my initiatives and also strive to make this team better than it was before.
And this is not happening in a vacuum either. The White Sox are more than likely going to go into this offseason hoping to compete in 2024. And fans can have their opinion on how much work that will take to actually accomplish that. But the White Sox are going to need starting pitching. They're going to need to go out and get starting pitching if they want to do what they think that they're able to do with, if they still have the opinion, hey, this group of position players, just a little more time, they can get it together, that we think that, or we are in the position where we have to let them have another crack at this. But if the pitching, if they need to fill 60% of that rotation, they got to go out and get some starting pitching. And Lucas Giolito is a starting pitcher.
Yes. I just think when we hear Rick talk, he doesn't believe in the contendership. Is that a word?
It is now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Mercy. We understand what you're saying.
Of this team, right? And
for 2023.
For 2023.
Right.
But I do wonder if the expectation changes for 2024 from where making the playoffs would be good enough for the 2024 squad rather than, what the expectations were for the 2023 squad.
Okay, you still need 3 starting pitchers.
You do, but I don't know if that means go sign a $100 million plus starter. That's the thing, is that, if that is the expectation to be on the caliber of the Yankees and Astros, you should sign Lucas Giolito. But I think that the goalposts are moving a little bit.
Speaking of moving goalposts, we need a new team for that, by the way, because the Yankees are in third or fourth place.
Yeah, they're bad.
Oh yeah, like
Yeah.
Sean Casey is now their new hitting coach.
Ugh.
We need to start saying the caliber of the Astros and the Rays.
They have 27.
Rays and Orioles.
I know, but they have 27 World Series.
I'm merely joking.
I know,
yes,
but
yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
that's still absurd. But yeah, thank you everybody for hanging out with us. I did like the comment earlier from I think David saying about now is all the way up. David saying I need this conversation. Thinking about the current form of the team is depressing. On to the future. We'll jump into the draft in just a second. But we did have a pre-show conversation about L stops, and Ian was saying. I asked, do you guys have any questions for today's show? And he said, how are you guys going to cover, in essence, a dead season now? And we're gonna rank L stops. We're gonna at each show.
We're gonna rank stops.
Oh, L
lines.
Lines.
I mean, we could do
Ranking
stops. We
stops
could do
would
lines
be,
and then
that
stops.
would require an awful lot of research.
Yes.
It'd be fun. You ride the train. Yay!
Well,
the
we're Jeffrey Bear.
Well, how many are there? It's 8 colors, 8 lines.
I don't think there's that many.
Yellow,
Oh, if you're
purple,
including the
green.
Skokie Spur.
Red,
what?
brown.
That's not a color.
The yellow line is just the Skokie Spur. It's just 2 stops.
Oh,
Yeah.
It comes off of the purple line.
In which you don't
Yeah.
believe is real.
the purple line is not real.
Okay.
So if the yellow line's a thing, no, it's not. The Skokie
Yeah, if you need to go to-
Skokie Spur,
if
yeah.
you need to
The
go to
Skokie Spur?
Old Orchard, take that, I think. But also,
I don't know what the hell is
Old
Old
Orchard's
Orchard.
a mall.
Good for
Malls
that.
are places where stores are all together, usually indoors.
Sean, you don't need to go.
So
go to a mall.
yeah, there's a thing called a
80s was
website.
Yeah,
80s
correct.
was very popular. 90s, we used to hang out, do nothing, eat a Cinnabon every once in a while,
Sounds fun.
watch girls, not talk to them. The mall.
That's a little
Woodfield
creepy.
used to have those like fish tanks. Remember, was that Woodfield or Stratford Square?
I was a
Whichever
Stratford
one.
Square
Yeah.
person, so I
They
never
had
seen
fish tanks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't remember this.
You'd walk in the middle. They had like a little like crap aquarium where you would go and it'd be like little fish floating around in there.
See, maybe born on third is Lucas Giolito's life. I was born on second. My mall was the Orland Park Mall, where, oh man, the middle of that mall, a gorgeous waterfall, and you get a beautiful fountain.
Fancy mall.
And I felt like, man, I was at the Illinois Trevi Fountain, tossing in my coins. It was beautiful.
A nice food court there too, right by that waterfall.
Right.
Or fountain. Yeah.
Say that again.
Fountain.
Waterfall.
I'm not doing that now.
Okay.
We're
Yeah,
not
see,
doing
he
that.
says it weird. Water.
Water. With a D?
You muted his mic. All right. I'm just saying. Go back and listen to Steven say water.
WADER?
Yeah, water. So we'll be ranking L stops. So or L lines, and we'll get to that because orange line's pretty mid from our
not
conversation
mid.
already.
Well, we were so I'm
Bad.
going to. I'll be at Midway tomorrow morning, and the orange line obviously goes there. But I was just, you look at a map of the L or happen to ride the L at any point, and the brown line has there's a stop every 4 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
There's just tons of stops on the brown line.
And
You could-
redundant sometimes with the red line.
You could walk between brown line stops in 10 minutes. It's like, why is there a stop here? The orange line has 8 stops total. It's an entire section of the city that is not being as served quite as well as some other sections of the city. I don't mean to really get into the political aspect of the socioeconomic aspects of this, but
well, I mean, no offense, we are talking about the red line. So I mean, that's kind of. Red line. I'm sorry. Red. That was a red
Yeah,
line.
I got you.
reference.
We got you.
I guess we shouldn't get into it. I mean,
Yeah.
'cause-
yeah.
Okay.
People know.
Okay. Anyways.
They understand. They get where we're dropping.
But yeah, I mean, you mentioned even, 35th in Archer, and then the next one is 47th in Western, for the orange line.
Yeah.
That's a long walk there.
Yeah.
And that's going diagonally too.
Right.
It's going it's not going straight down 35th or straight down Archer. It's going diagonally. So all those streets are missing a ride. You got to walk or get another train or bus to the next orange line.
You probably have to take 2 buses.
Probably.
8.
8 stops.
No,
the whole
8
line.
8 lines.
There are 8
8
lines,
8
including
lines.
purple and yellow.
No yellow.
Just
We're not
including
counting
purple.
yellow.
All right.
That's, and I did think. I guess I threw that one a bone. The purple line does not exist. It is my 8. I don't know if you guys want to
The
disagree.
purple line's fine. What's wrong with the
It
purple
goes
line?
downtown.
It doesn't exist.
It goes downtown, it goes
No,
in
it
the loop,
doesn't.
and goes right back
This
to
is
where it
just an
said.
odd opinion that you have.
It only goes in the mornings and the night. or like in the rush hour area, it's
Why is it an odd opinion for me to have? It's the most northern. It's
a-
the most northern line that's half express that I never use because I'm a
Your
Southsider.
opinion is that it doesn't exist. It
No-
obviously exists.
no
You're
one-
talking about it.
You've never given me proof.
I've been on it many
You've
times.
gone to journalism school. I need to see it. You've gone
I've
on it. That's
taken
great.
it to cover football games at Northwestern, which we don't need to talk about any further. But yeah.
I got. Yeah. All right.
this is not going to be a baseball show at all.
Best L line.
Brown.
Yeah,
In terms of like quality, Brown. Yeah.
the brown line.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
The views too.
Yeah,
I think
where you're
coming
going-
out of the L when you're going like northwest, especially that bridge crossing. I think that's the best view on a train.
and the brown line, you don't go subway. You don't go underground.
Correct.
The whole time, you stay above ground.
Correct.
Other ones do that, and I'm not a fan of that.
You guys,
Especially if you, I don't know if you guys have this effect. I live close to the red line, so sometimes I take that to the guaranteed rate. If you're just listening to your headphones and just zoning out at a spot and not looking outside, and you get out of that spot, like you go to the
Underground?
guaranteed rate, from underground, not guaranteed rate, like Madison, Lake. You get up, and every time I'm got like motion sickness. Like I feel sick to my stomach.
I just have no idea what direction I'm facing.
Yeah, and I think my body's like, yeah, you're just been zoning out. Your body's been moving, and now you're gonna pay the being sick because you were not paying attention to your circumstances and understanding that you were in a moving situation. I don't usually get sickness and motion sickness, but every time I get out of the red line and I'm going underneath the ground, I get motion sickness.
I agree with everything you're saying, but I'm guessing we have some city workers that listen to our show, probably Sox fans.
Hopefully.
If anyone does work in the tunnels and can show me the tunnels, it would be cool to see the tunnels. I mean, like, you guys ever know about the stop that's just completely under 37 North? They spent like $1 billion on it, and just it never opened.
Was it like the
underground
water reclamation
I
project?
don't
They
know.
tried to make some stops and it never happened, so they just gave up on it.
They're trying to make like a super center for L stops, and they're just like,
Which is just Clark and Lake.
right,
Right.
and they
Currently,
just,
yeah,
and
right.
they just
And I
never
heard that
opened it.
Grifter also tried to make a super loop from O'Hare
Oh,
to
yeah.
downtown.
That has nothing to do with the L.
Instead, he, bought Twitter.
Jesus. Yeah, we can see that. Worst L line.
The worst one.
As far as, I mean, you could say your worst one. I got my choice on this one.
I don't know if I have one.
Come on, that's no fun.
Well, the worst one.
I haven't. I've only.
Who's your desert island artist? Oh, I love every band.
The pink line to me, it doesn't really do anything for me. I never take it. I
That's
don't
the
go
only
that
one I
way.
haven't been on.
I don't go anywhere. It
Yeah.
like
That's a
it
good
doesn't
reason
have a
to not
stop.
list it.
It doesn't have a stop right there for the United Center, but I think it's being worked on.
It's the rumor.
Yeah, so
I
it's
mean,
like goes to
that
like
green line stop.
it goes from like Morgan, and then it goes
to.
to Illinois Medical Center, which Illinois Medical District. It's
think-
weird.
You guys took it to Humboldt Park to go to Riot Fest? That'd be pink or would that be blue?
That'd be blue. Humboldt
Okay.
Park.
To go to Humboldt Park?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you would
Pink
have to
line
take,
turns and goes south.
Yeah, it goes loop out south.
Yeah.
Same thing with the orange line.
So yeah, it would have to be blue.
Okay. Maybe it was the green. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know if I've been on the pink. I think I have been on the pink because then I think I needed to go like, no, I don't know. I don't think I've been on the pink. Anyways, where does Ashland take you?
The road.
Well, no, the Ashland green line and pink line stop. Maybe I've taken the pink
The
line
Ashland
to,
green line stop is the closest one to the United
I
Center.
think I've taken the pink line to the Union Park,
Which is
for-
right there.
that's
for-
right at the Ashland
for-
stop.
Okay,
right,
for Pitchfork. Different
There you
music
go.
fest.
There you go.
And then the blue line
Nice
to
work.
Riot Fest. Thank you very much. So I have taken the pink line. Pink line's fine. Pink line's like the brown line. It's the brown line equivalent to the red line. But the green line.
Brown is to red as pink is to blue.
There it is.
Is that what you're trying to say?
No, because I'm trying to work in the green. Anyways, we'll workshop it. Anyways, we'll figure it out. We're going to be doing this for basically 3 more months. I hope you enjoy. Let's take a break, and we'll jump into the NBA, not the NBA draft, the MLB
Please.
draft, and then we'll talk about Luis Robert Jr. and tonight's home run derby. Want to let you know about our friends over at Game Time, and then after, Vinnie and Herb will let you know about our friends over at ComEd.
Okay.
If you are looking to get into a game, maybe you're a Atlanta White Sox fan. Herb was down in Atlanta last year and
Well,
got
worth
to
it.
check out the the Sox and the ATL. I don't know if they like people saying that. Do they?
I mean, technically it's in Cobb County, so yes, they probably don't like that either.
Okay. If you are in Cobb County, maybe
It's like
you could
throwing
check out
how the Bears are going to have the AH on the helmets.
Yeah. And the big boss man. I mean, if the White Sox, if the Bears do what the Braves did in Atlanta, I think no
Herb,
one.
what was that?
What? The big boss man?
Yeah, what is that?
You guys don't know what the big boss man is?
Yes, from WWF.
WWF. The big boss man is from Cobb County. He's a jailer from Cobb County.
And they hung him.
I mean, he didn't. No,
It was a live hanging. The Undertaker hung that
Stop
man.
it! I know, but people don't know if he actually
Still
died.
real to me, damn it.
I mean, he's currently dead, but yes,
This is the weirdest game time read ever.
Oh yeah,
Game Time loves it. But
well,
yeah,
you were in
if the Bears did the same thing in Arlington Heights that the Braves did in Atlanta, I think everybody would be happy.
Ian, the show's going to get goofy for a while. You were in Cobb County last year.
Great time.
And you got the game time guarantee.
Oh, it was so great. I mean, I looked at the tickets, I bought them, just sight unseen, and then I just I want to try out Game Time because I know these companies sometimes they're like, oh, we'll give you the 110% guarantee, and then they make you jump through hoops to get it. No, sir. I looked for another place. Another place did have another third-party ticketing site had it at a cheaper price in the same row, in the same section for the same game. I took a screenshot of that, see what the final price would have been on that site, and I sent it to Game Time, sent an email to their customer service. 12 minutes later in my email, $46, which was 110% of the difference.
Herb got the Game Time guarantee, and he did not stress when he snagged the tickets. So download the Game Time app, create an account, and we're going to be real nice. We're going to give you code CHGO for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed after the All-Star game. The Sox have 9 straight road games, and then they're back for the Cubs on the 25th and 26th. So just a heads up, maybe you're in Minnesota, maybe you're in New York, maybe you're in Cobb County, and you want to watch the Sox on the road. But if not, the 25th and 26th is the next time they're at
Clark
home.
gets my Clark rumor. So does Kevin Kadick. I just say
He's
that
currently dead.
currently
Yeah.
dead thing.
I mean,
don't
Walt
know.
Disney is currently dead
He is.
and also frozen.
Is he?
Yeah, they froze him.
Is that where the movie comes from?
Him and Ted Williams.
The comment.
They're in a pod together.
They're
They
in the
have
same
a podcast?
podcast.
No,
Awesome.
The
Walt Disney Ted Williams podcast?
First podcast is when they froze Walt Disney and Ted Williams.
I don't know if I
together.
want to list that Walt Disney one too tough.
Real good.
The ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is committed to helping families and businesses in the communities they serve, helping manage energy usage and lower energy bills now and into the future, Vinny.
Herb, that's true. ComEd offers a wide variety of incentives on lighting and other efficiency upgrades to commercial, industrial, and public sector customers of all sizes across the territory. That needs a capital T and a capital T. Mm-hmm. You know how they've got, like the region, the land for some reason in Cleveland? This could be
Ohio State University.
This could be the territory. ComEd also offers free facility assessments that can help find energy-saving opportunities, such as those for HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, or industrial processes.
Vinny, how does that work?
Herb, I'll tell you.
Thank you.
An authorized engineer will work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and your needs. These can be done in person or virtually, like your, Tron or something, and last approximately 2 hours. Within 3 to 4 weeks, customers will receive a report detailing energy efficiency projects that they can start working on immediately. Each recommendation will include estimated energy savings, project costs, potential incentives, and simple payback. If you, Herb, own a business, do not wait.
I won't.
And here is, fittingly, for what we just talked about, the CTA, the Chicago Transit Authority. And it's yellow. This is the yellow line right here, the Skokie Spur. Get started saving money
That's
and
in the
energy.
territory.
It is in the territory. Get started saving money and energy today. For energy-saving tips, lighting incentives, or to schedule your free facility assessment, go to comed.com/poweringbiz.
Is that comed.com/poweringbiz, Vinny?
Yes, Herb. If you or the listeners want to schedule it, don't put it off. Don't schedule it for like next week. Schedule it today.
Today. And see, Kevin said also Big Bossman's entire persona was based on police brutality, and he was still the 8th most problematic guy on WWE. And I you put WWE. We as kids, as Kevin knows, used to call it WWF. Then the Pandas came for him and they sued him.
Hey, no, but I mean, when it was WWE, there's a lot of problematic characters coming out. I mean, I would say one character that you guys won't know, Gene Snitsky. Yeah, exactly. There's a reason
He
they
had
don't
multiple
talk about.
genes. They had a
Mean
Mean
Gene.
Gene Okerlund and a second Gene?
And one was beloved Mean Gene, even though he was mean.
Even though he was mean, right.
Really a small, gregarious feller he was. And then Gene Snitsky, a gnarly man. And there's a lot of nasty stuff that they did in the early 2000s. And a young 7-year-old should not have been watching that.
When I was a kid and I didn't know anything about anything else, especially about Jewish people separate, they had a character named IRS. Look into the character. Oh my God. Talk about problematic. I knew at that time that character was wrong. Oh my God.
Yeah.
His name stands for something. Look it up what it stands for, and don't say it, Sean.
Maybe you shouldn't look it up.
Oh my God.
Well, I always knew that guy is Mike Rotunda, and he has like kids that are wrestlers. He's the dad of Bray Wyatt and Bo Dallas.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, his name is Mike Rotunda, and he felt the need to come up with a different name?
well,
Vince
that was
thought he needed a different
great name.
It's a
and
creative
Vince
head.
was woof.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
is
Yeah.
currently terrible.
Yeah. No, okay. I got you. Yeah, I never knew it was a.
Yeah, you didn't know that was a wrestler?
No, I did, but I just knew it was IRS. You know, because I was. They didn't want to be anti-Semitic, I guess. So I wonder why.
Don't like that.
You mentioned the CTA. Again, that would probably be higher than Big Boss Man on Kevin's list. Would be IRS.
I mentioned
Yes.
the CTA. Yeah.
Sorry. I said $1 billion on that thing. This is from NBC Chicago, Phil Rogers and Katie Smizer. How Chicago spent $400 million on a subway superstation to nowhere. Again, if you can get me access, please let me know. But imagine a scenario, guys, where you bury a lot of your hard-earned money in the yard and you never see it again. Better yet, imagine giving that money to someone else who buries it with big promises of returns, which never happens. Is that far-fetched?
Are you just reading a story off the internet right
I gave
now?
him credit. You've already done it, folks. It's below Block 37 between State and Dearborn at Randolph, and the CTA wanted to launch a nonstop train service from the Loop to O'Hare and Midway airports. But the closest the service came to reality was a shell of a mass transit superstation below Block 37 between the Red Line and blue subway lines. So it's just underground. They spent $400 million on it, and I want to see it.
I've already got a fantastic solution for this.
What?
Concert venue. Boom. Done. Do it.
That's so sick. That is so sick. I agree with you.
That'll be smooth as hell.
All right. Mercy. Again, if
Call
you're,
the catacombs.
if you're
I know
city
we
of
already had the
Chicago,
catacombs.
hook us up. Let's jump into the MLB Draft. Steven, why don't you update us on the players that the White Sox have selected so far, and some interesting names in here and some interesting developments. 2023 draft class, as of the moment Steven just made this graphic. What?
30 minutes ago, sure,
30
yeah.
minutes ago. Okay. In the first round, they took Jacob Gonzalez out of Ole Miss, a shortstop. In the second round, they took right-handed pitcher Grant Taylor out of LSU. In the third round, they took Seth Keener out of Wake Forest, a right-handed pitcher. In the fourth round, they took Calcium Horseradish out of Ole Miss, a catcher. In the fifth round, they took Christian Opor out of Gulf Coast Coastal Community College.
Community college.
I was going to say Coastal College. That's not a thing. In the sixth round, they took left-handed pitcher Lucas Gordon out of Texas. The seventh round pick is getting a lot of buzz. Outfielder George Wolkow out of Downers Grove.
North.
Downers Grove North. Local product. Then in the eighth round, they took Eddie Park out of Stanford. And in the ninth round, they took Jake Peppers out of Jacksonville State.
Because they just emailed it to me, here is your 10th round draft pick. Right-handed pitcher Zach Franklin out of my alma mater, the University of Missouri.
Hey! Oh, Ryan's not here. You guys could have had a Mizzou party. So they stay in the SEC, and that's the big thing right there. Steven, just feel free to flash that up just real quick because they took Ole Miss, LSU, Ole Miss, Texas, and then now Mizzou. So that's 5 SEC players right now. 5 out of the 10 are SEC players. And the one thing for Jacob Gonzalez, and we'll get to some audio from him and Mike Shirley in just a second, but Jacob Gonzalez, Calcium Horseradish, and then the 10th round pick last year, Tim Elko, all Ole Miss players. So a big pipeline for Mike Shirley and Ole Miss.
My favorite anecdote about Ole Miss is from several years back. Herb, you might remember this. Their mascot, the guy that used to be their mascot, on theme, problematic.
Very much.
So they were going to get rid of the mascot, but they wanted to keep the team name, as they did, right? The Rebels. So they had a contest, a vote amongst the current student body, what should the new mascot be to go along with the team name, the Rebels? And, Herb, you won't get this joke, but Sean will. Ooh. The students elected Admiral Akbar because a leader of the Rebel Alliance, very hilarious, school decided to scrap the whole thing and pick a black bear instead.
Annoying and dumb. It could have been
Admiral Akbar.
How many aliens are there in college football?
Not enough.
I'm sure George Lucas would have played ball too.
Absolutely.
Right. Like, just pay me a bunch of money, use them. Yeah. Go ahead.
The University of Oregon currently uses a Disney character as their mascot.
The duck?
Yeah, It's Donald Duck.
Okay.
If you look at the drawing, it's Donald Duck.
Really?
Yeah. So they could have just had another one.
Used to be. It seemed like it was a little bit more of a ferocious duck.
I think maybe Jacob Gonzalez should have to weigh in on this.
Okay. Well, why doesn't Jacob Gonzalez weigh in on this? We'll get to what I think is probably the more exciting pick in the 7th round, but we'll talk how they got there. Jacob Gonzalez, 21 years old, was a junior in Ole Miss. In his sophomore year, won the College World Series with Ole Miss, was teammates with Tim Elko, who again was a 10th round pick last year. And the White Sox, in the MLB Draft Combine, got the chance to sit with Jacob Gonzalez. And Jacob Gonzalez talked about what the White Sox wanted to focus on with him and what the Sox noticed in the prospect.
When I met with the White Sox, they're the only team to show video on my swing, and they were like very interested in what, like, on the video they wanted to know what I was trying to do in it and what they see I can do with my swing. So they were really like trying to more hands-on in the interview. So it seemed like they were more interested than other teams were.
Next question comes from Lamont Pope. Go ahead, Lamont.
Hey, Jacob. First off, congratulations. Your growth as a offensively and defensively, what areas did you feel that you made some progress in from your sophomore year to your junior year, and what areas you want to continue to work on as you become a professional?
Yeah, so my sophomore year, I got a little bit pull happy, hit more home runs, but average went down. So this past year, I was hoping to drive the ball the other way, and I'm still figuring it out now, and I'm getting there to where I'm driving balls over the fence in left field. So just being able to spread out the power, and then also defensively, I feel like I've gotten way better, and will continue to get better because I love taking ground balls. It's really fun to me, and getting better defensively it makes me feel like I'm contributing when you're good defensively.
Jacob, what's your experience with wood bats, and what do you think that change is going to be like for you becoming a professional now?
Yeah, every time in the off season, I'll swing with the wood bat, and then obviously the past 2 summers with Team USA is all wood bat. And growing up, I hit with mostly wood bat too, and travel ball. So, I mean, I like it. I feel like it's weird to say, but I feel like I hit the barrel more on a wood bat because I don't want to break the bat. And then with the metal bat, I'm like, I can be a little free and miss on the end sometimes. But I feel pretty comfortable with wood bat. And, I mean, the sound obviously is amazing. So who would not love it?
And that is Jacob Gonzalez on what the White Sox look to address with him. And, the big weakness for Jacob Gonzalez coming out of, the scouting world is that, he does have a lot of power. He has a big left-handed swing, but the outer portion of the plate is something that he might struggle with, especially at a major league level, that possibly could be exploited. Maybe that is something that the White Sox have identified. And what we have heard is that Gonzalez had a floor of the 15th pick, that he really wouldn't make it past the 15th pick with the White Sox, and that stayed true. So we see the White Sox identify a player that was fairly highly regarded in this draft, and it seems like they have an idea of how to help this player grow further. And I know that's been a frustration with a guy like Jake Berger, where his wife is saying, hey, we're fixing your swing, but it does seem like they do have a direction right now with this player.
Well, I mean, I think I mentioned it on yesterday's show. We did talk to Mike Shirley before the draft the other day, and what he said was he thought that there were 7 kind of slam dunk elite guys in this draft, and then and then after that, there was various degrees of risk with everybody from pick 8 to pick 1,000 or whatever there
pick
is. So
209. Maybe.
So the point being that this is baseball. This is not the NFL or the NBA where these guys are going to be the next the next best player on your team, the face of your franchise, starting today, right? There is development. There's a reason they call it player development, and you don't pick these guys because they are ready to plug in to the Major League roster tomorrow. You pick these guys up because you think you can turn them into somebody who can be a very big impact player on your team. That's what all these guys are going to be. And so the White Sox, over the last few years, particularly during that rebuilding time when those picks were very high, those first-round picks were very high, we're taking guys where you could pencil them in. You could start penciling them in for a little bit down the road. This is a guy who is taken with a 15th pick. It's not a top 5 pick. And so, listen, you should expect, and the White Sox should expect, that this guy is going to be an impact player at some point for them. But go ahead and look at the list of first-round draft picks in Major League history. You're going to see a lot of guys whose names you don't remember and a lot of guys who never even gave you a chance to remember their name because they didn't make the Major League. So this is a day or a few-day span here, this draft, where the future is built for the long term. And even a guy like Jacob Gonzalez, who's been at the college level, probably takes less seasoning than someone who has been at the high school level, let's say, for example. But he is a guy that is going to take some development. He's going to need to take some years to, like you said, iron out any issues that the scouts might view right now or have viewed coming into this draft. And the idea is that the White Sox will one day be able to count him amongst their lineup in the major leagues.
Well, and before we go to Herb's take on Jacob Gonzalez, the guy who was running this operation for the White Sox, Mike Shirley, commented on Jacob Gonzalez, the prospect, and what they see in him.
The MLB Combine has given us an avenue and a route to take a different outlook and look a little deeper behind the curtain with these interviews we're granted with the players. We're granted about 30 minutes one-on-one with the player. We try to use this as a more personal touch to really dive into the player. Some players make this extremely easy. The warm personality, the baseball knowledge of a Jacob Gonzalez allows you to access and have a conversation that's real. We wanted to ask some hitting stuff in his thought process and how he approaches the game, how he describes his swing, the growth pattern he thinks it become as a way to get a little deeper from his thought process. Approaches, plans to the plate. We wanted those defined. He was engaged in that because I think he loves baseball that much. It was an engaging conversation. He's a warm kid, and we really like the kid, obviously, and we enjoy how he plays. We enjoy how he goes about it. So it was a great way for us to connect and get to know him. So I'm very gracious the fact that he liked it like that.
I think it's very interesting to hear about the MLB Draft Combine and now the time that they're allowed to talk to these players, and that's really what won the White Sox over, was talking to Jacob Gonzalez and getting his understanding of the game, how he approaches, and if they're trying to break down a swing, how can they talk to that player to best facilitate growth for him. So hopefully the White Sox are doing everything in their best ability to grow this player, Herb. But the concern that I've heard is that this might be a regression to what the White Sox used to do. You see Jake Berger as a first-round pick, again, a college bat. You see Nick Madrigal the next year, a college bat. You see Andrew Vaughn the next year, a college bat. And then they make the change from Nick Hostetler to Mike Shirley. We see then Garrett Crochet, a freshman college pitcher. Then we see Colson Montgomery, a prep player. Then we see Noah Schultz, a prep player, but now a return to a college position player. Do you think it means anything for the future? Is it just they like this kid and you think they've been going best player available, so they thought this was the best player available because there was thoughts that he could go 5?
I'm not too learned on the differences on college to prep, and I don't understand high school players have different options and go to college, and if you don't pick them high enough, don't give them enough money in their slot. But so I depend on folks like yourself, Jim Callis, Jim Margulis, and the White Sox.
Jim Callis.
I know, but for people who are smarter than I about the subject, White Sox Daily, those folks, and of course the Future Sox people, you can all follow those people on their individual accounts. But I like the fact that the kid has multiple things. His dad had a cup of coffee in the minor leagues and was a high school coach. So he has the fundamentals down. He understands how to play baseball because he has been ingrained probably since a very young life. Kid was in California, Southern California, and he decided to go to the SEC. That's a far drive. And I don't know if you guys know anything about, not you guys, but anybody knows anything about Southern California. They play baseball a little bit. They can play baseball at USC, at UCLA, Pepperdine, all those places. And he's like,
Pepperdine.
I'm gonna shoe all you people. They can play for the Banana Slugs at Santa Barbara.
Good.
But he's like, I'm gonna go to Mississippi and play in the best conference for baseball down there at Ole Miss. That tells me that he's not afraid of a challenge. He's not afraid to challenge himself to play versus the best. And he came immediately. He was the shortstop and the starter on that SEC team. In 3 years, he had great success. You know, he's had a great freshman year where his OPS was the best that he did in his career, but he didn't fall off the table too much. He says himself that he went a little too much for power last year, and then this year he is more adjusted, and he's had like a 400-plus OPS or on-base percentage. So he has been a consistently good player. People tell me that maybe not refined glove at shortstop. So as Greg Miller says, and like everybody says, pick shortstops. Colson Montgomery a couple years ago. This year you get this guy. They both come up. If one of them's not good, you can move one to center, move one to second, move one to third, one to third, first. They have versatility because of their bearings at shortstop. I like that. I like to pick a guy like that, and I don't care if they're in high school or not. I mean, I think the high school guys are nice, especially if they play well versus their competition, but also you need them to take longer in the minor leagues to get here because they'll be jumping up not just one level, 2 levels to a major league and professional career.
I hear about the pedigree for sure, and I'm not saying versatility is a bad thing, but that's, I guess, the one thing that scares me is, you know, they took Andrew Vaughn, and again, he was a polished enough hitter. He was a polished enough college player, and was doing well enough in the minor leagues that they were willing to try him in the major leagues. They were willing to try him out of position in left field. I mean, Jacob Gonzalez is a better athlete than Andrew Vaughn. Is he going to be in right field? Is he going to be in left field? I mean, can we see him at third base, second base, shortstop? Like,
I don't. Shortstop's arm, he can play the corner outfields.
I worry that there's not a huge direction with the pick, and I think that it's more of a timeline-driven pick because what we did hear from Shirley last year about pitchers was elite college pitchers have a window 1 to 2 years until helping you out. I wonder if looking at last year, Peyton Paulette, who was seen as an elite college pitcher but had Tommy John, same with Grant Taylor, an elite college pitcher but had Tommy John, if those players are going to still have 1 to 2 year timelines because of of being elite college pitchers. So if the White Sox are looking to have those players contribute to the team in 2024, 2025, wouldn't they expect Jacob Gonzalez as well, who's a 4-year player? And you look at a lot of the 4-year players that they took. That's the main thing is a lot of 4-year players. 5 of the first 6 were 4-year players. Not all seniors, but some were juniors, some were seniors, and then one community college player who was a first-year JUCO. It does seem like, again, they're looking for a little bit more of an advanced timeline rather than Colson Montgomery, let's build up the player. Noah Schultz, let's build up the player. I mean, both of those guys right now are in Kannapolis. Maybe you'd be able to see Colson next year, but I feel like that's a little bit.
I mean, he was on a trajectory to be on the major league staff probably either next year or the year after. I mean, like at minimum, a September call-up in 2024. I think the injury pretty much put him back for a couple years. He wouldn't have been at Kannapolis this year if he was healthy. Right, Colson Montgomery.
Yeah, but
he would have been. He would have. I mean, I know they did Project Birmingham, and that's why he went up there. But I think that's probably where he would have started this year.
Well, no, he probably would have been in Winston-Salem because right now he's at Winston-Salem, and that's Advanced Day, right?
He probably would have started the year if he was healthy at Winston-Salem. Yes, because Project Birmingham was not
a real thing.
Was not a promotion.
Yeah.
It was a different type situation.
And he had success at Kannapolis. He had success at Winston-Salem. Winston-Salem last year, 37 games, 26 walks, 26 strikeouts, an OPS at 803, and then 14 games in Birmingham. And again, a pretty aggressive promotion. But they were trying. They had a direction.
A promotion. It was an experiment.
Yeah,
it just happened to take place at Double-A.
He still got promoted. I guess I don't know what. I
guess you could have seen a situation where had he been healthy enough to have a complete spring, he might have impressed enough during the spring to have to start at Birmingham and spend a whole season there. But
I think if he's only played 4 games at Winston-Salem, but like what I think you are seeing is a kind of a mastery of this lower level for Colson. So I think we could see him promoted soon.
That would make sense.
Maybe in August to Birmingham, because right now 16 walks to 9 strikeouts and a cool OPS of 1270 in 14 games. Just normal stuff. So, I mean, Colson does seem like a great athlete, and he is an exciting prospect. And there's another exciting prospect they took recently. But if I could give a comp of Gonzalez, I think he's maybe like budget Corey Seager. Bats left, throws right. Seager was taken 18th by the Dodgers. I see you shaking your head, Herb.
I'm in.
Corey Seager was taken 18th by the Dodgers in that draft. Seager was younger. He was 20. Gonzalez is 21. And again, I say budget because Seager's hit tool was a 60. Gonzalez's 55. Seager's power, a 60. Gonzalez's 55. Seager's run, 45. Jacob Gonzalez, 40. Arm for Seager, 60. Jacob Gonzalez, 55. Fielding for Seager, 55. Our glove is 60 for Seager. Fielding for Gonzalez is 50. So a little bit of a downgrade, but again, I think the idea is maybe this is a power left-handed middle infielder that could give you 25 home runs and could play average defense, and you are expecting him to be an offensive middle infielder like a Seager, like a Marcus Semien.
Sure, and I would imagine that there are folks down at 35th and Shields right now saying, boy, if that's how it turns out, then job well done.
Having Colson Montgomery and Jacob Gonzalez in the middle infield for the next 10 years, both left-handed power hitters.
That's what you hope to do with a first-rounder.
Right. But
we see so many first-rounders on this current team, too.
Right, and you know, I just want everybody to remember, though, that this is a long-term thing. Yeah. We're talking about Colson Montgomery hasn't really played at Double-A yet. He was drafted 2 years ago. You know, like, he's a high schooler. That's how long it takes, and that's fine. He had the injury, obviously, but the point being that, you know, you're not – the White Sox certainly are not going, all right, well, when is Tim Anderson's contract up? When should we be how should we draft somebody because of that? No. They're drafting a guy that they hope, fingers crossed, makes the major leagues and does well there. And they do not I can tell you this because this is what Mike Shirley said the other day, and we've heard it every year since. They do not look at the needs of the major league roster, the major league team, when drafting.
That's smart.
I don't know if I believe that because, like,
what do you mean you don't believe it?
I don't know if it's necessarily like TA driven, but I do think it's Luis Robert driven. Like, Luis Robert is the window of this team. So
But the whole point of the organization is that the window never closes. You know what I mean? You can look at it and make an outside judgment and say, ooh, they better get some guys that can help out before date X, right? But their thing is, the point of the draft is to stock a farm system so your farm system keeps producing guys that are great and keep you great forever and ever and ever. It rarely works out that way, right? But that's why there are so many players picked. It's why they do this every single year, and it's why every time that something like this happens, they go, man, we really like this guy, and man, we think that he can turn into something.
Well, and seemingly the possible jewel of this draft wasn't even in the first 6 rounds for the White Sox. It wasn't even the first 200 picks of the MLB Draft.
It's a lot of hype.
A lot of hype for George Wolkow of Downers Grove North. He is a left-handed bat, right-handed thrower, outfielder right now, 6'7", 239 pounds, and he was born in 2006. He is one of the youngest players in this draft at 17, and he reclassified from the 2024 class to the 2023 class. And you see fourth-year junior, fourth-year sophomore, fourth-year junior, fourth-year junior, JUCO first year, fourth-year junior, and then George Wolkow, a prep prospect. It seemingly is the White Sox plan to underslot some of these fourth-year players, which is typical for most college players because they really don't have any other direction to go. It's, my now time to go to the MLB. So if it's 4.4 or $4 million, I am still getting that money, and I'm happy to be a major league player. Wolkow, the idea is they will probably overslot him, and the MLB what's it called? MLB Draft buzz is on fire about this kid. So his started a spring season 5 for 6 with 3 home runs. He was committed to South Carolina, but it does seem like the White Sox are going to again overslot him and get him to decommit from South Carolina. He's described as a player with all the total tools, a huge frame, comparisons to, of course, Aaron Judge, but also James Wood. He was one of the
actor James Wood?
No. We talked about Sean Spicer and James Wood. We don't need this.
Piece of candy.
But James Wood was one of the key prospects in the Juan Soto trade. San Diego sending him over. He's 6'7" and hit ball hard, very far. A big guy, hit ball far. But then Joe Doyle of now I guess what is this? FSS Plus. Joey's been covering MLB for a while. Big get for the White Sox in the 7th round. Local product, extremely young, reclassified, huge product. Growing into his 6'7" frame over the last 12 months and heard Chicago had him in the 2nd or 3rd round. And now, of course, if they're getting him in the 7th round, I guess that is a good pick. Even Jim Callis was surprised that the White Sox were able to get him in the 7th, saying that he was a 2nd-round talent. So it does seem like the White Sox and a lot of Major League Baseball are being a little bit more aggressive about these prep players, but the White Sox seeing a guy 6'7" with this frame, if he was a 2nd-rounder, again, I mean, the White Sox could possibly say, we got 3 2nd-rounders, or we got 3, top 60 players in this draft. I mean, that is the buzz that I think.
Golly, that just hurts.
And I checked his Instagram too, and it makes sense because Downers Grove North. There's pictures of Lalo and him in a Cubs jersey. There's pictures of him at beautiful and historic Wrigley Field. Seems like we got a North Sider.
Yeah, he doesn't remember good White Sox teams.
No.
He was born in 2000.
He was 10 when the Cubs won the World Series.
So he celebrated that.
10?
But think about this. Like, I don't know.
That's how many. I think that's how many Old Styles my roommate had that night.
Wow. I know that Rick and Kenny are the overarching bosses. And to speak to your point, Vinny, like how they don't draft to help today's team, do they keep the draft separate from what Rick and Kenny do on an everyday basis? So I know Mike Shirley is the guy, but does Rick and Kenny have the final say on his pick, or is it Mike Shirley that's saying, "I'm picking this guy"? Do you agree with this, Rick and or Kenny?
I would imagine that if Rick and Kenny and or Kenny had opinions on the matter, that they are the head of the baseball operations staff, they would be able to to weigh in. That being said, Mike Shirley is the head of the amateur scouting, and he's got a bunch of people that work with and under him. I think it is a department like player development is a department, and it moves that way. I think Mike Shirley and the guys scout you, then they hand you over to Chris Getz and the player development guys, and then the idea is to hand you over to Pedro Grifol and the major league manager guys. Rick and Kenny are in charge of all of that, obviously, but they've got plenty of work to do looking at the major league team.
Exactly.
And the other 29 major league teams for that matter. I think they put a lot of trust in the guys who run the amateur scouting department, and it would make sense that, you want the people who are most informed and most educated on these things making those decisions. Doesn't mean that they don't weigh in, that they don't have thoughts on it or anything like that, but I think you want the people who have the most information, who their educated opinions are the most valid.
It'd be likely that Rick and Kenny's biggest job would be financial. Like, hey, this is the amount of money we'd like to spend, or probably just controlling that. You'd assume,
perhaps, but I mean, maybe it's a budget that it's like, hey, this is your budget, guys, and that comes from a different silo. Who knows? So yeah,
it seems to be a ton of praise for this Wolkow pick. So I mean, it seems like they managed their budget well enough to get this stud. Excited that he's a local product too. Again, he was 10 years old when the Cubs won the World Series.
And negative 1 years old when the White Sox won the World Series.
Yes.
He's a youngin. But don't say that to his face because he's apparently 6'7" and he might step on you.
And 237,
a foot taller than
he's a beast.
What?
He's as tall as Lucas Giolito.
Lucas
Giolito's 6'7",
and bigger.
He's 6'6".
Well, he's right around.
And he's bigger
crazy
than probably what Lucas was last year, and at his heaviest.
That's an inch.
Like stocky.
Yeah, when Lucas was getting all pissed off and lifting. Anyways, let's take a quick break, and then we'll jump into the home run derby. We all came prepared with our Shady Rays. Take on the sun with gear built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with the warm weather ahead with premium polarized shades at an affordable price. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company that offers a world-class product that's just as good as any expensive pair we've worn. They have durable frames and extremely clear optics for outdoor adventures. And that's not all. Shady Rays offers the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. Every pair of sunglasses backed by lost and broken replacements. If you lose or break your pair, even on day one, it tells us that they will send you a brand new pair. No questions asked. You can wear your Shady Rays with confidence because they have your back long after your purchase. And if you don't love your Shady Rays, you can exchange them for a new pair or return them for free within 30 days. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back. And exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal this season. Go to shadyrays.com and explore all of their lovely options. These are 3 different options you can get at shadyrays.com. And use code CHGO for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized shades. And the thing is, they got a ton of options.
I was surprised.
And lots of options. So try for yourself the shades rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people and find the shades that best suit you. Also want to let you know about our friends over at FOCO. Get fitted in the best sports gear around. They have hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, and everything in between. That lovely Southpaw bobblehead was donated by FOCO, so go check out their bobbleheads. You can get lost during the home run derby when Luis Robert Jr. is not batting. And since it is baseball season, they got Aloha shirts, straw hats, polos, bags, everything you need for a game. So check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. And for all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off. Again, at FOCO.com, FOCO, with promo code CHGO. I also want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Bird Dogs. I don't know if the logo's on the other side. I'm wearing the Bird Dog shorts. I got the package today, and I was like, oh, these came wrapped in plastic, nice. So they're clean, right? You wouldn't even expect that these are so comfortable.
No, they're like, those are the 7-inch ones, right?
Yeah, 6-inch.
6-inch.
6-inch inseam. You know, I'm showing off the gams, showing off the lovely legs, and I am wearing, pants that I didn't have to iron, that are extremely just...
They look flexible.
Right, they're flexible. I've had cotton knit shorts before, and these are a better cotton knit short. What are you looking at?
No, I'm just saying they don't look like gym shorts. Like
no, they don't.
Those flexible shorts usually look like gym shorts, and you're just like, oh, you going out to a party tonight, or you going to work out, jerk? But no, these look great. I see them, Bird Dogs in the back. Bird Dogs.
Seeing a lot of skin there. Above the short, I mean.
Oh.
The shorts are doing what they're supposed to do. We were seeing some back skin.
My bad. Hey, if Steven was actually on the close shot, I said, show my butt.
I was.
Oh, you were?
Yeah, the bottom one is the live one.
It's true. Sorry, everybody. Anyways, let's get into the home run derby. I want some picks from you guys. All right, let's look at the bracket. Let's get into some picks, and then I'll be dorky, and then I'll let you guys go have your summer break. At least Vinnie will have a little summer break. Let's start Luis Robert Jr. versus Adley Rutschman. What do you guys make of the bracket? Robert versus Rutschman. A catcher's never won, and Luis Robert is the first White Sox representing the team at the home run derby since 2016, since Todd Frazier made it to the finals. Can Luis Robert be the first one to win it since Frank in '94?
He can, but I don't believe he will. There's so many people in there that I think are better actual home run hitters than he is, and better in this contest, which is not necessarily are you the best home run hitter, are you the best home run hitter that can endure multiple rounds of hitting home runs versus somebody else. And who's your pitcher? Like, I know they have the Sierra guy as his bullpen as his pitcher, but he hasn't done this before. Pete Alonso has had the same guy multiple years, so he understands where he wants the ball to be thrown. He understands Pete's wheelhouse, and in this contest, that is, I think, mostly the value of winning this is understanding how things are done, when you need to take your break, how your pitcher needs to be in sync with you. That's how Bryce Harper won with his dad and such. And Todd Frazier, I think, had his brother or his dad too. So I don't know if he can win it. I mean, if he will win it, but he can win it.
I agree with you, but I mean, let's look at the bracket here. Like, the big reason why I think Robert can win it is just because it is so in his favor. Because you look at that right side, Alonso does have his pitching coach, but the guy he's going up against, J-Rod, the hometown kid, who hit 81 home runs last year, also has the same guy throwing to him.
He does.
And he's going to have about 30,000 people behind him, too.
Right. And he's 22. He's younger. Like, I think that's such a tough side of the bracket because, you're probably going to have to hit 30 home runs to advance out of that first round if you're Alonso or J-Rod. And then you have to face Vlad Guerrero Jr., who's hit 91 in this. And the whole stat that I've been focusing on is average exit velocity on home runs. Usually the person that leads that goes to the finals or is the winner. That's Vlad Guerrero Jr. So, like, the favorite in my mind, you're going to have to face him if you're Alonso or J-Rod. And for Vladdy, that's a tough matchup. Like, I don't know. Then you're going to have to face Luis Robert Jr.? Like, it seems like very heavily favored in Robert Jr.'s standpoint from a matchup standpoint because he just has to get past Rutschman and maybe him and Sierra can work out the kinks.
I mean, listen,
the Ray Davies.
Yeah, they can work out the Ray Davies and Dave Davies. But Luis Robert Jr. hits balls very far and very hard, and so he's very well suited for this competition because guess what? That's the name of the game. He could certainly win, absolutely. I would not sleep on Mr. Mookie Betts just because I don't think I've ever seen anything regarding baseball in any fashion or bowling that he can't do. I wouldn't count that guy out. I'm going to go with a bit of a dark horse pick. I'm going with Adolis Garcia for the sole dumb reason that when the Rangers were recently at Guaranteed Rate Field, every ball that he hit seemed to be going a million miles an hour. So I'm going to go ahead and say Adolis Garcia muscles his way to a win tonight.
I like the pick. Again, that side of the bracket I think is winnable. I think Randy is going to be Randy versus Adolis. That's going to be a heated matchup there.
It's going to be fun though,
right?
Yeah.
But then Robert, as long as he gets past Adley, I think he's got, which I think he does because the catcher's never won this. I think he's got the leg up against Garcia or Arozarena. He hits the ball harder. He's bigger. He's younger than both of them. And the big thing, too, like Mookie's hit a ton of homers this year. He's hit 26. His average distance on his home runs is under 400 feet.
They all count, though, in the home run derby.
They do, but if you hit 2 past 440, you get extra time. So he might just be dealing with a least amount of time. So he's going to have to be like Mr. Pitching Machine from Backyard Baseball. Like he's just going to have to be like swinging his one arm just like do.
Give me Garcia over Betts.
I'm going to go the opposite way with Vinnie because of the reasons that you were saying. The gauntlet on the right side is going to be tough. A lot of people are going to be hitting home runs, and they're going to be tired from that first round into the second round. So who the winner of the Alonso / Mookie Betts / Guerrero Rodriguez side will be really tired on that side, while the winner on the left side, the Robert, Rutschman, Garcia, and my guy, Randy Arozarena, will be more rested. No, they'll hit a couple home runs, but I don't think it'll be the battle that's going to be on the other side where you got to hit a lot of home runs to get to the next round because the guy you're going against is really tough. I think Randy Arozarena and or Luis Robert will benefit from that, and then so when the finals come, they'll just be more fresh than the other guy, and they'll hit more home runs, 1 or 2 more home runs than the guy on the other side, and I'm going Randy Arozarena.
My favorite bet that I gave out on CHGO Bets Daily earlier today was a 2-leg parlay at plus 113, and there's also a 50% DraftKings boost on DraftKings.com, or DraftKings if you want to use it. But it's Robert to advance to the first round and Vlad Guerrero Jr. to advance to the first round at plus 113. It's plus money. I think both of those are pretty easy. But then a lot of the Mookie Betts stuff I'm betting on under 4. The longest home run for Mookie Betts, under 459.5 feet. He has never hit a homer in a game, 460. And I know that they're not.
This is not a game.
Meatballs down the middle.
Yeah.
But also they're not 90-mile-per-hour fastballs.
They don't get the benefit of the velocity.
Sure. So I don't think Mookie's going to be able to hit the distance. Under 22.5 for Mookie as well. He's going up against Vlad. He's going to need to hit 1,000 homers to beat Vlad, and I don't think he's still going to be able to do that. Under 20.5 for Adley as well, because I don't think he gets past the first round, because I think Luis Robert Jr. wins the whole thing, and a lot of totals tapped out at 19 last year as well. And then under 28.5 for Randy Arozarena. I like Garcia as well. And then the one big one, too, I'm hoping for is Arozarena to advance, Robert to advance, J-Rod to advance, Vlad Guerrero Jr. to advance, and that's at plus 11-1. So 10 wins you 128. So fingers crossed. There's your picks if you're looking for a way to gamble. Make sure you're hitting up that thumbs up button if you have joined us. We do have one more graphic, too, and since Steven I was a pain and made him put this together. Average exit velocity on home runs, again, has been the biggest signifier of someone who makes the finals or wins. That leader is Vlad Guerrero Jr. at 109.1. Robert's third on this list, so again, the best on that left side. And then average distance on 110-plus mile-per-hour balls. Vlad Guerrero has hit 30 of them, which is really good, but a lot of them have been just into the ground, which wouldn't be good for the home run derby. So that's why it's at 216. Robert has consistently, when he's hit them that hard, has made them go over the fence. 7 batted balls over 110 miles per hour and an average distance of 389. That's second, and Betts is the leader, and he's only hit 1 at that, so that's why he's got an average distance of 398. So I really do think that Robert will be the freshest, and I think that we could see it first time since Frank Thomas in 94, 19 years later. Luis Robert will be doing it in AL Park. And the real reason, too...
Sean, it's worse than you thought.
What?
It's 29 years later.
Oh, 29 years later. That's
Yeah.
fine. Oh, that means I'm going to be
in
older
high school
soon.
in there.
But the main reason, I like trends. You know who won the home run derby? Safeco Field, now T-Mobile Park, in 2001. Last time I was at the All-Star game.
2001.
Beat Sammy Sosa.
I don't.
Griffey?
Nope. He was an NL guy, NL outfielder.
NL outfielder. In 2000.
Barry Bonds?
2001.
I have no idea.
Good guess. Barry Bonds, though.
It was.
He was an
he
NL
was in it.
outfielder
No,
in 2001.
and he was in. It was a good guess. 2001.
Beat Sosa.
2001.
You just keep repeating the phrase 2001.
Luis Gonzalez.
Luis Gonzalez,
All right.
because they won the World Series in 2001.
I was going to guess Stanley Kubrick.
So, there. Luis Gonzalez won it in 2001.
He was helped.
Oh, because they won the World Series. That's why you were saying that.
He was helped.
Yeah. Luis Robert Jr. has the same name as Luis Gonzalez.
He does.
First name, yes.
The pitcher for Luis Robert Jr., Luis Sierra. Luis. I think that is very good.
Luises
for the
are
White
wild.
Sox. It's what's the Seinfeld thing?
I've never watched it, so I wouldn't
You
know.
never watched Seinfeld?
Not really.
Wow, striking out on Star Wars and Seinfeld today, Herb.
What was the
Upsetting.
movie?
Rochelle.
Rochelle. Thank you. There you go. But yeah, Luis Sierra.
It's been a long journey from Milan to Minsk.
Thank you. Luis Sierra, originally from Colombia, was signed as an undrafted free agent by the Sox in 2007. Spent 8 of his 10 years, minor league years with the Sox, and has been with the Sox since 2015 as a coach/instructor. And he was also the first base coach for Team Colombia in the 2017 World Baseball Classic. So shout out to Luis Sierra, a member of the Sox organization for a long time, but obviously behind the scenes. So,
right.
Let's give them some love today.
Give us the quiz. Steven, pull the comments down.
Oh, right. All right.
Before we go, we'll do this real quick.
Final one. Sorry.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about.
AL Central All-Stars for the teams that are
You don't
above
have
the
it,
White
sorry.
Sox and Royals. We were talking about this earlier.
Sox?
Could you name the Royals All-Star?
Royals All-Star is Salvi Perez.
Yes.
Sox All-Star is Luis Robert Jr. How many more are there between the other 3 teams?
5.
5.
5 between the Tigers, Twins, and Guardians.
Okay.
And while you guys think, I'm just going to read this quote from Lindsay Adler on Nick Castellanos, because it is All-Star Weekend. On Scooby-Doo, first off, he's a dog who could talk. So I think a dog that can talk and can help people by solving mysteries is a superhero. So I love All-Star Weekend because we get comments like that.
We get silly questions. I know one of them. Pablo Lopez is an All-Star for the Twins.
Correct.
I'm going to stay with the Twins, and I'm going to say
You can't leave until you get all 5.
Sonny Gray.
Correct. 2 for 2.
Okay. So there's only 3 more.
That is, you're done with the Twins.
I'll say Jose Ramirez.
Correct.
Okay.
Guardians have 1 more.
Oh, so 1 Tiger and 1 Guardian.
Yes, I'll help
All right.
you out.
I'm going to say Emmanuel Clase.
Correct. 4 for 4.
Okay, so we just got to guess the Tiger.
Jesus.
And
Is it what's his face?
I'll
The
be here
closer?
forever. No, not what's his face.
Lang,
Not-
right?
Yeah, not Dickey.
It's not him?
Fuck. Jesus. Torkelson.
It's not Javi
No,
Baez,
it's
right?
not Torkelson. It's not Javi Baez.
Green.
He uses his arm. It's not Riley Green.
He uses
I
his
guess
arm.
it's-
Does that mean he's a pitcher?
Edwin Rodriguez.
Oh, yeah.
Not Rodriguez.
That's not his name, but I would guess him.
Rodriguez.
Yeah, not Eduardo Rodriguez.
Oh, boy.
Jesus.
Really good
sounds
against. He's really good against the White Sox.
Bo Brisky.
Nope.
Okay. Really good pitcher versus the White Sox. So you said it.
name.
You said it weird.
It's not Tariq Skubal.
Tariq Skubal.
and it's not Matthew Boyd because he's terrible versus
It's not
the White
Casey
Sox.
Mize.
This player
God, we're going to be here forever.
Is one of 11 players since the integration era to have 36 innings or more without allowing a home run to the White Sox. Joining Milo Candini, Earl Johnson, Mike Fetters, Dwayne Ward, Dennis Lamp, Dan Ozinski, Fred Newman, Stu Miller, Jim Kern, Dean Stone, and Sam Zodolak. I guess
I'm familiar with Mike Fetters.
I got it. Michael Lorenzen.
Michael Lorenzen.
Oh, Michael
There you go.
Lorenzen. Is he hitting or pitching?
Both.
The Pillsbury throw boy.
If the AL is down, which they're never, because they usually dominate this this event,
Michael Lorenzen can
Michael Lorenzen might hit. Anyways, that's going to do it for the CHGO White Sox podcast. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us. Hopefully this wasn't too goofy. Thank you to Vinnie Duber. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Vinnie Duber, but he's going to be MIA for a while. He's going to be on vacation.
His Instagram, more likely.
Yeah, there you go. Check out his East Coast
White Sox-related things there, but yeah.
travels. You sometimes post like, hey, I'm at the ballpark.
Rarely.
Do that one.
But Vinny's going to be on vacation, so you don't see a ton from him on Twitter, and rightfully so. That's Herb Lawrence. You can follow him on Twitter at ActonWall23. He's our CHGO White Sox community leader. And I'm Sean Anderson. You can follow me on Twitter at Sean_W_Anderson. And you can follow the show on Twitter at CHGO_White Sox. I will likely be tweeting out during the Home Run Derby from both my account and the CHGO White Sox account, so make sure you follow there. And we'll keep you updated. If Luis wins the damn thing, I'll probably fucking record another episode or something.
Wow.
I'll
big.
be here.
That'd be big. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's going to do it. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button, and we will talk to you later. Bye.